This podcast replay is brought to you by AccidentLawFirm.com. For truck, motorcycle, and rideshare accidents, call Bobby Nunez, 305-444-4407. AccidentLawFirm.com.
That week is going to be amazing.
We have Mr. Manny Navarro.
I love it. All right, our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report, 2511 South University Drive in Davie. We love talking about Caneswear, Miami Fanwear. That's the spot where fans like me shop, and they are a proud sponsor of this segment. They do it every week here, and so does Manny. He joins us every week here on the program. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Catch his work at The Athletic. Manny, how are you doing, my man? You doing all right?
I'm doing great. Oh, sorry about that little hiccup there, but I'm glad you could get me on. By the way, my buddy Ernie, who was part of your fantasy football discussion last week, beat me this past week. He's very happy about that. So I think you guys put him over the top in our fantasy football playoff game.
Hey, blame Andy Behrens, not me, okay? I just all right. It's not me, bro. It's not me. It's just Andy Behrens has been on with me for 8 years now, 9 years or something like that. So we have him every week. He's really, really good. So I don't know if he really helped him out, but I'm sorry about that, my brother. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's all
right. All right. Manny, the talk a lot has been about recruiting and how many players Miami has and the top 300 of this state or the top 300 of the country and this and that. And, I kind of feel like it's, and you tell me, I may be completely off here, but I think we're getting a little lazy on thinking that that's going to be the end all be all. And until Manny Diaz proves that he can better the guys he has, you're not going to get major commitments from 4- and 5-star guys. You have to get the guys you do have, make them way better, and get a 3-star guy and make him play like a 4- or 5-star guy, get a 2-star guy, make him play like a 3- or 4-star guy, and then parents and players see that around the country, and then that's when they say, okay, I'm a 4 or 5 guy. Now I know I'm going to be taken care of. Right now, if you're a 4 or 5-star guy and you're a parent, you can't sit there going, I know that coaching staff is going to maximize my son and give him the best opportunity to move on to the next level because, as you know, every 4- and 5-star kid thinks he's playing in the NFL. I mean, they're guaranteed. They feel like it's a guarantee they're going to be in the NFL. But if Manny doesn't prove he can develop a team, they're never, ever going to be that team that brings in a whole bunch of 4- and 5-star guys. Correct? Am I right or wrong?
1,000% correct, though. 1,000%. I completely agree with you, and I know everybody's up in arms, and we want this 5-star Darnell Washington tight end, and we want Justin Flo, the 5-star linebacker. You know what? All these recruiting rankings, I'm like, I've been doing this so long. I'm like that angry guy who's just like, get off my lawn already. That angry old guy who's just telling the kids, get off my lawn. I'm like done with this recruiting stuff because to me, it's all nonsense anyway. I think it's been proven time and time again that these star rankings and this guy with this much, expectations on him, I mean, it's just pointless. I mean, you look at who Miami's best player was this season. It was Gregory Rousseau. He was a 3-star kid. He was like the 18th or 19th best kid in that recruiting class a couple years ago. So, nobody really knows. This isn't a perfect science. A lot of this is about character and being able to develop kids, as you talked about, being able to take somebody and make them a better player. And that's what Manny D is going to have to do in 2020. He's not going to be judged based on who these 20 recruits are that are committed right now, because I guarantee you there may not be more than 1 or 2 of those guys who actually even plays a big role in 2020. Most of those guys are going to be special teams, scout team. They're not going to be playing this year. So to get all crazy and worked up over the recruiting class, this is not a 1-year fix, man. This is a 2 to 3 to 4 year fix where you're going to need 2 to 3 really, really good recruiting classes over and over again. And again, I don't care what the star rankings say anymore. You have to get quality guys that are not going to be problems, that are not going to be headaches, that are not going to walk out of team meetings or get into fights behind the scenes and get suspended for games. I mean, you need guys that are going to buy into this program and play above whatever the star ranking is. And if Manny Diaz can't do that, he's not going to be a successful head coach at the University of Miami, and he'll be gone. So to get all worked up over recruiting right now is kind of silly. I think we've all, been following this a long time, And we know that star system is pretty much a joke.
Dude, I've just had a big old smile on my face and almost laughing my ass off because that's been me with you for 20 years when we talk about recruiting and all that stuff. I always tell you about that. You sound exactly like I am, like about recruiting and stars and all that it's a whole bunch of garbage, dude. And none of it means anything if your guys can't develop stars and can't develop players, because that's how Howard Schnellenberger and Jimmy Johnson, all these guys became badasses, because they can develop players and develop entire teams. That's what it's all about, dude. I mean, you know the stories. Warren Sapp was a tight end, and Santana Moss was on a track field when they found him, and Ed Reed was I think like a 2-star guy or something.
Yep.
It's just these stories are over and over and over again. We hear them all the time, and it's coaching and development is what's going to make it, and that's where I think some of our fans have, it's kind of a blind ass fan alert there. It's they're focused on the wrong thing, because right now, if I don't see Manny coach up players, I don't know how the hell they get to point B, because right now they're still at point A.
There's no question. I mean, what we're going to see here, if Manny Diaz is a good coach or not, and whether or not he's got the right guys in charge, are going to be guys like Jeremiah Payton, okay, who was their number one wide receiver, number one recruit in last year's class, and Christian Williams, the 4-star cornerback they got last year. Do those kids take a step up? Do they become solid, real contributors to this team next year? Or do they go the way of some of these other guys, like Mark Pope, who show up 1 minute and disappear for the next 2 or 3 games?
Right.
Mark Pope was the highly rated guy a few years ago. To me, the coaches who can get consistent performances out of their players are best coaches. Guys can have a bad game here and there. You can throw those, games away. Who knows what the kid did that weekend? When he was not partying Friday night, wasn't focused on the game. You can take that every once in a while. But this program, consistently, what they've had is inconsistency.
Right.
They've had a team that just shows up 1 week and then the next they don't. And I think you have to give. That's why every head coach, you got to give them time to recruit their own players. And the one thing you do have to give Manny credit for is he revamped that defense. Is it elite? Is it the number one defense in the country? No.
Right.
But it's been top 25 for 4 years.
Right.
Give the guy a chance to do the same thing with the offense, and let's see what he can do.
I'm with you. Follow Manny, by the way, on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. And I know those of you on Facebook, we're having some issues on YouTube. So I know you cannot hear the guest. You're only going to be able to hear me. So I'm sorry about that. But you can download it on the podcast, and you can hear the entire interview with Manny Navarro. And follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report. All right, Manny. So what is the latest recruiting-wise? What are you hearing right now?
Well, I mean, listen, they hosted kids the last couple of weekends. This past weekend was basically all the commitments, the guys that we know are going to be signing with them. The big storylines, obviously, are the 5-star kids. The Darnell Washington kid, the tight end out of Las Vegas. There's a chance here that he may wait until February to sign. Which is good for Miami. I think it gives them a shot. I think right now all the signs are pointing to this kid signing with Alabama or Tennessee or one of these SEC schools. And I think the kid had a really good visit to Miami, and I think he's considering the Canes. We'll see if there was somehow able to sway him here. The rest of it is pretty much the same. I mean, again, it's the same 20 commitments that they've sort of felt good about here the last few weeks. They haven't added anybody else. Jaden Francois is a safety out of Southgate High School who's been committed to them twice. He's committed and decommitted twice, okay, because I think he really wanted to go Ohio State, and basically the Buckeyes weren't interested in him. And now, he visited Miami this past weekend, and I think he's sort of come to the realization like, okay, I got to come play for the Canes. And so that's good. You know what? Maybe you don't like the fact that the kid decommitted twice. But maybe he didn't like the fact Miami won 6-6. Maybe he didn't like the fact he lost that FIU and he was hoping he could go someplace better. You can't fault the kid for that. Right now, if you want to play for Miami, it's because you really love the program, and there's nothing wrong with this kid wanting to play somewhere that's winning more, and he thinks it maybe could make him better. So if Miami gets him, great. He's a talent. He's a good player, and I think that's sort of the big name that they might add tomorrow. Outside of that, the couple more offensive linemen that they're interested in. Former FSU offensive lineman Alex at Cabbage out of Bradenton IMG Academy. He's a 3-star offensive tackle, 6'5", 286. They're going after Kobe Baines, a kid who's committed to Louisville, another 3-star offensive guard. They're trying to beef up the offensive line because right now they've only got 2 commitments. One of them is really, really good. This kid out of Jalen Rivers, out of Orange Park, and Jalen Rivers is named 4-star kid, and then Chris Washington's another one of these like offensive tackle projects, big frame, but he needs to be coached up. So offensive line we know is a big, big deal. But again, back to what we talked about at the very beginning of this segment. It's about player development.
Right.
It's about making Ja'Kai Clark and Zion Nelson and all those guys that have been here better players. And can this staff do that? We'll find out this spring and eventually that first game against Temple.
So, Manny, let me ask you: when you look at their commitment into next year, are you sensing that they're going to make any kind of changes on the coaching staff? I know that recruiting is going on right now, and that's the priority. Maybe after recruiting, they make any changes, or do you think they stay status quo?
I really don't know what Manny's thinking. I think obviously there's a lot of pressure on him to make changes, but I don't think there's going to be any major changes. I think, most of these offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators, obviously there'll be positions that open up. But look, they gave Dan Enos $1.5 million. He made the quarterbacks better. Was he a great play caller? Did he make the offense better? No, but he also had a horrible offensive line, and we all know that that's where it starts. So, to me, I think if you're really Manny Diaz and you really believe in Dan Enos and this is an important hire for him, then you give that guy a chance to work with an improved offensive line next year and hopefully find the quarterback of the future. There's no doubt that Dan Enos can coach quarterbacks. He's got a strong track record of that. But let's see what he can do. Maybe Tyler Van Dyke is the answer here. The kid who's signing in this class out of Connecticut will be here and part of spring ball. I don't know. Maybe it's through the transfer portal. Obviously, the last 3 Heisman winners were all found in the transfer portal, right? So look, there's a lot of things that are going to happen here. Whether or not coaches are fired. To me, I don't get the sense that there's going to be many changes on this staff. There might be an assistant coach or two, but I think for the most part it's going to be status quo.
What do when you reach out to boosters and people like that, what's the vibe from them about Manny?
Just anger. So many people are angry and disappointed, and I think there's a lot of people who, again, this is 15, 16 years of mediocrity, man. I don't think it's so much necessarily directed at Manny, although obviously they were embarrassed by the loss to FIU. But it's just, I think in general, a lot of them are just pissed that it's been this long since the program was good and relevant. And there's just a lot of frustration. And I think the feeling is, hey, why did we rush to hire Manny Diaz, a rookie head coach? Why didn't we put more of an effort to get a Mario Cristobal or a big name coach who might know how to come in here and fix this thing and really change the tide? Oh, you and I have talked about this a lot on this segment. Every week you've had me on. This is a really tough job. There's a lot of negativity in South Florida and towards the team and towards the program in general. A lot of the local kids don't want to stay home. A lot of the best local kids don't want to stay home. They want to go away to bigger programs. And, that ultimately the head coach in charge now has to deal with all of that anger, all of that frustration, and try to turn it the other way around. And that's not easy. That's not easy to do. I don't care how many talented players are in your backyard. When you're sort of battling a storm cloud like this, and there's family members saying, man, why do you want to go there? They've sucked for a long time. It makes it tough to recruit. It makes it tough to convince kids to come to your program. So, and the thing is, this roster, as much as we've talked about how many, 4- and 5-star recruits this program has had over the last 15 years, let's just face it, a lot of those guys have been busts. They haven't really developed. And that whole notion of, well, they leave Miami and then they make it to the NFL. Have you looked at how many Pro Bowlers Miami's had the last few years? There's not many. It's not like there's a lot of stars in the league right now from Miami. They're NFL players, but they're not stars. So, it's a much tougher job, and I think just the overall sentiment from boosters and people who give money to this program is that they're tired and they're fed up. And I think had he not lost to FIU, it wouldn't be this way. But the fact that he lost to FIU, man, that's like it's a terrible stain on him right now.
Yeah, no. Well, listen, the 3 games he lost, if you beat Georgia Tech, you beat FIU, and you beat Duke, that's 9 wins. And we're sitting there going, hey, man, he had a pretty good year. He improved the team from last year. Those are the 3 games that changed the face of your entire season, because most of us are pretty realistic. We didn't think you were going to win the ACC. We knew you would struggle to even win the Coastal. So that's fine. But at least win the games you're supposed to. And if he would have ended up with those 9 wins, everything, the outlook, everything is different. You feel different about the program. It's kind of like when you watch the Heat, and I know last night they lost to Memphis, but when you play 82 games, eventually it's going to happen. But throughout most of the season, Miami has taken care of business against the teams they're supposed to beat. And that's the only thing that people can ask of you in your first year as a head coach. You have more talent than Duke. You have more talent than FIU. You have more talent than Georgia Tech. Dude, just win those games. And that's really what has ruined it for him in his first year, and what has put severe doubt in whether he's the guy in boosters, media, or fans. We don't know if he's the guy, because when you lose those games, that's the kind of doubt that sets in.
Well, and again, and I've talked about this on this program too. I think part of this was Manny sort of overselling it, right? The whole new Miami and just sort of bragging a little bit, the touchdown rings. Everybody wants to celebrate and party with the turnover chain and the touchdown rings when things are going good. But when you're not and you're losing and you're 6-6. And people are making fun of you because you're a Hurricanes fan and you're stupid, turnover chain, your stupid touchdown rings. It ain't cool to have those things, and it's not cool to be the coach who's all over social media bragging about commitments and then losing those commitments a few weeks later, or a few months later after you lose a game. So I think look, the one thing I've learned in this business, and you know this. The guys who come out, whenever they screw up and make mistakes, right, especially in baseball, all those guys on steroids, when they come out and they get caught and they get busted, when they come out and they apologize and they sort of explain themselves, I feel like, I don't know, not that they win necessarily the entire public over, but there's certainly people who sort of ease up on the hate and the anger and the angst. And I think it probably do Manny Diaz some good to come out and sort of, maybe not necessarily apologize, but certainly like explain himself a little bit, say, hey, you know what? I probably oversold this a little bit. We're a lot further away from winning, and we want to be the new Miami, but we need these players to come in and help us, and we really got to change the attitudes. Because when you sit there pounding your chest, and we're the new Miami this, new Miami that, you set the level really high. You set the expectation levels really high, and as it is, Miami fans are always going to expect you to win championships and all that. But I think he needs to paint a clear and fair picture of just how screwed up things really are.
Well, he did his best, cornerback backtracking, because he talked it up a storm, and then he threw, hey, well, this is a rebuild, guys, and then so that's where you kind of end up losing. And that's the thing about this season for Manny. He has lost a lot of credibility. He had it all as a defensive coordinator, and then he jumped over to head coach, made all these declarations and talked tough and all that stuff, and then you started backtracking during the season, and they didn't see the same brash guy, they didn't see the same confident guy, and then that's where doubt starts to set in, and then you add the losses on top of all of that. It really muddies the water, and that's where we're at right now, dude, unfortunately.
Yep. And the only thing that's going to fix this, man, it's not what how many recruits they sign tomorrow or how many guys they get in February, how many stars those guys have. The bottom line is it's going to take victories on the field. And
Amen.
It's going to take, more than anything, no more embarrassment on the field. I think the moment he proves that he can handle business with this team and win the games he's supposed to win, I think that's when he'll start to win the fan base back. But that's all he can do. That's the only thing that's going to remove the stain of an FIU loss is improvement and showing that the program is headed in the right direction.
Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Manny, what are you working on The Athletic? Because I know right now you're probably working on 8 different articles that will be posted in the next 10 minutes.
Well, there's obviously a lot going on. One thing I'm writing, I had a long feature with Tyler Van Dyke that I'm finally going to be posting here as part of our recruiting blitz at the Athletic. We have a ton of recruiting stories as part of our recruiting blitz. There's also 40% off discount right now through the end of the week to sign up with the Athletic. So I definitely want to punch that out there. And, look, the bowl practices today, the teams got together. I didn't go down there because I'm busy working on other stuff, but they had a practice, which of course we couldn't watch. So what's the point of me going down there? They're going to put all these interviews on video anyway. I think they had 4 players come out and talk to us today, and I'll be watching that later and seeing if there's anything interesting in that. And then, hopefully we get a chance to see these guys and talk to the coaches tomorrow, especially after signing day. It'll be important to hear what they have to say about this recruiting class and where they want to go from here.
Did you screw around with Tyler Van Dyke by asking him, hey, are you related to Dick Van Dyke? And just to see his reaction. Just to see his reaction.
No clue. I'm pretty sure he has no clue.
That's why. That's the beauty of it. It's like, okay, wait a minute. First of all, you're saying Dick. Is there a joke here? No, seriously. The guy's name is Dick Van Dyke. Are you related to him? That would have been awesome just to see his reaction. Put it on video. Yeah. That would have been great.
The only Van Dyke he knows is DeMarcus Van Dyke, who works on staff in Miami.
DVD, baby.
Van Dyke he knows.
DVD. Yep. Yes, sir. All right. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. And more importantly, go to Caneswear, baby. Get your Canes goods there. Inter Miami, Miami Dolphins, Miami Heat, Florida Panthers. And they even got a Marlins shirt somewhere in the corner there, somewhere you can buy. Go to Caneswear.com. Follow them on Twitter at Canes_wear. And follow my man Manny at Manny_Navarro. And, of course, subscribe to The Athletic. They got 40% off, which means you're only going to pay like $2 or $3 or $4 a month for the entire country and all the local teams. It's a beautiful thing. Manny, you're a stud, brother. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on. I'll talk to you soon.
You got it. There you go. The great Manny Navarro from The Athletic joining us here on the program.